Morning, guys. How we doing? Good. Hope you guys got some really good information. What'd you do about the legal shield? And trust me, it's a really good plan. I think you guys will enjoy it. We have a smaller room, not just the room, but the group, as you guys have noticed. We started doing some changes from last time, and more changes are coming as well. But obviously for the better. We want to make sure that we start 2015 the right way, and apparently, some people are not going to be with us for that, which is okay. It's not a problem at all. But we want to make sure that we start with you guys that are the right ones anyway. So I want to start sharing with you guys a very, very exciting fact that we just had. We actually it's going on as we speak right now. How many of you already knew about the magazine about Florida News by Dream? There's a couple of you guys that knew about that, right? Supposed to launch in September. Didn't work out, obviously. A lot of stuff in the way and everything else as well. But we finally have it ready, and it's being printed as we speak. So we literally were up until like 2 o'clock in the morning yesterday, getting everything revised and everything done. Juan and his wife Jackie are going to be taking it down to Brazil because we have the launch event for the franchise. So we have about I think 500. If we can fit 500, if not, then we're going to split it between you, Juliana, and everybody else. But we eventually want to get 500 down there and to Maringá, obviously. So I think this is going to be a huge thing. I think it's just we're very very proud of it. Um, but it's not September. It's just that I had the old cover, and that's the cover that's coming out. The only thing that we're changing is we're adding lifestyle instead of health, fitness, and sport. I believe it's going to be health, fitness, and lifestyle. Because we have other things. The focus of the magazine is going to be on the like the healthier side. The people that are coming to the U.S. that they, for example, if they don't want to, we're trying to go away as much as we can from the typical Brazilian magazine. Because the content is all in Portuguese, and you have a lot of the only the Brazilian businesses advertising, and it's only focused on Disney and all of that stuff. So we're focusing on other things like attractions and things outside of the International Drive area, and also the Lake Buena Vista. It doesn't mean we're not going to talk about it. We're obviously going to do it, but it's just going to be a completely different concept. The If you look at the magazine that we have up front, for example, it's like a notebook that you staple in the middle and all of that. Our magazine is going to be the one that has a little square, like towards the end, more of the fancy, the high-end magazines. It's going to be very different. We'll have it by Friday, and I'll make sure that we have some up front so you guys can grab it as well. But this is going to be really cool because when you're talking to your client, it's another piece of leverage that you can use with them. Say, listen, we have our own magazine, and then when you open up the cover, we have the very first ad on the magazine as well. So it's going to be we're very very excited about that. So as I said, we're launching in November, and the reason we pushed it to launch in November is because of the event. We want to make sure the magazine is going to be down there. There's 200 people that they're expecting at the grand opening down there, down in Maringá, which is going to be phenomenal. And they're not. I mean, they're literally not, saving any money. They're spending 25,000 in the event, so that's going to be pretty big. But Money Corp's going to be down there. Park Square is going to be down there. Juan and Jackie are going to be down there. Sandy's going to be down. So there's going to be quite a few people. And also we have multiple TV channels that are going to be recording, so we can use that as leverage later on as well. So we're very excited about it. We're going to start up with 5,000 magazines, and we're going to distribute them across Florida, anywhere from Miami to I believe it's Tallahassee, if I'm not wrong. But obviously our main focus is going to be here in Orlando. We're going to do 5,000 for the first month, and eventually we're going to grow, to by the end of the year to 10 or 15,000 as well, just depending on how well it does. Um, we do have a lot of advertising opportunity. I was able to push quite a few, obviously with Danielle and Alini's help as well, but just between our partners, and this is one of the things I want to share with you guys. It's amazing that when you have leverage and you have a great partnership with somebody, for instance, with Hudson's and Florida's Candy and all these guys, you don't really have to try to sell them an ad on the magazine. It's real simple as, listen, I have to have a management company. This is how we did it. I have to have a management company in the magazine. I have to have an interior design company or a furniture store. I have to have an accountant in the magazine. I would love for you to be in the magazine with us. If you're not, that's okay. I'm still doing business with you, but I would love for you to be on the magazine. What do you think their answer is? Of course, we want to be on the magazine with you. So it's not like, the pressure thing. It's more of the common sense, right? If Dreams launch in a magazine, why would I not, be with them if I'm their preferred partner? So, what's up, Paco? Yeah, exactly. That's another thing that I was about to cover is one of the things that we're doing differently as well. There's a lot of things, as I said, not just the focus of the magazine, but Daniela, which is our partner with the Florida News, she has a lot of contacts, and they're more in the like hotels, you know. So for example, um, just on iDrive, I believe there's going to be 30 or 40 hotels that are going to be getting the magazine, where she has direct contact with them, because since she did the PR for Senior Frogs, and she already had that established that relationship with them, she's going to be able to get our magazine into those hotels. With Florida Scandy, we're setting it up with Joe to where every single vacation home has a magazine at the house, you know, or one or two magazines, so they can take it home with them as well. And this is made to be more of a guide, to where the person can literally take it with them and not just read it and leave it there. They want to take it, because if they go to this place, they're going to get this. If they go to that place, they're going to get something else. Now, obviously, it's the first edition. We're still going to get a lot better, but we have, you know, great people writing for the magazine. One of them, obviously, is Mr. Renato Alves, and which, thank you for that, by the way. Thank you very much. We have his brother, which is a chef in Brazil that has his own TV show as well. Daniela's writing about the design portion, obviously, but we have quite a some great people writing for the magazine as well. But the biggest thing is, with the majority of the Brazilian magazines, is they're focused on, like I said, only on the Brazilian community, right? If you pick up any Brazilian magazine, that's the way it is. It's about the events. It's in Portuguese, so if somebody that doesn't speak Portuguese picks up the magazine, well, doesn't do them any good. With ours, it's going to be different. For those of you that have traveled through TAM before, I don't know if you've noticed it, but their magazine has the text in Portuguese, but they have a translation right next to it in English, right? Our magazine is going to be the other way around. We're going to have the main text in English and the translation in Portuguese right next to it. So just by doing that alone, we're going to, you know, make it, it's going to be a big difference from any of the other magazines. Absolutely. Because anybody that doesn't speak Portuguese will be able to pick up the magazine and read it, right? So we're, like I said, extremely excited about that. We have ads that go from anywhere from 500 to 2,500 bucks. Just depends on the length of the contract, and obviously the size of the ad. And the cool thing is, and I was telling Juan about this, and obviously this is opportunity is open to all of you guys. You're all going to have a few magazines with you, because when you're talking to clients, like I said, it's another piece of leverage for you, right? But you know, if the subject comes up where you think it's appropriate, bring it up. Say, listen, I think you should be on the magazine. I can actually hook you up with them. There's a 20% commission on whatever you sell. So think about this. If you close somebody, or let's say on the least expensive, right? $500 for 12 months. So we're talking about $6,000, right? Every month you have your residual income. If you sell an ad for $2,500 at 20%, that means for a year, that means for 12 months, which is a contract they're signing with us, you have an extra $500 coming in. So it's just an extra opportunity. Like I told you guys in the beginning, with everything that we do, all the services that we offer through Dream Solutions and everything else that we're doing, we want to find ways for you guys to make money as well. As of right now, like I said, it was crazy how it happened that within a week and a half, we were able to get all the sponsors that we needed, which was awesome. To be able to pay the magazine, pay the cost for the editor, pay the cost for everything. Okay. But obviously, going forward, once the magazine is out, it's one thing for you to sell, kind of like selling the property, right? It's a lot easier for you to sell the property to certain people when they can actually touch the product, right? When you're selling them via text, or if they've never met you, or if they've never been here, or it's a little harder, right, for some people, depending on the generation. So for us, it was a challenge, a little bit of a challenge, because we didn't have the magazine with us. So for us to be able to not start the magazine, pulling all the money out of our pockets to do this, because of the partnerships and commitments that we have from our partners, because I mean, Park Square is with us. Paco mentioned about the categories, right? We only allow, this is another pretty big difference between the other magazines. We only allow one type of business per category. So if it's a real estate company, guess who's going to be the real estate company? Obviously us. If it's management, you know, it's going to be Florida Scan. If it's going to be furniture, it's going to be Hudson. We're not going to allow people to, because it's a conflict of interest. And if you look at any other magazine, that's how they do it. You can advertise 14 realtors in the magazine. I don't think it's as good as you don't get as good as a result, in my opinion. So we decided to do quite a few things differently. And now we're working on getting something together with the city of Orlando. I did look at the material that you sent me. Very nice, very awesome to be sponsored with them. It just costs a little bit much, $250,000 a year. So that's a a future goal. Absolutely. You never know. A little something. No, see if we can get a little something. But we're gonna be having an ad with them because the way they want it is this: they're not currently advertising in any magazines, but the magazines that do want to put stuff about them, when it comes time for them to choose one, then they're gonna choose that a certain magazines. So we're doing a lot of stuff with them as well. Um, Another thing I wanted to share with you guys, this is actually the media kit. Every single one of you is going to have one of these as well, just before we get on that one. And it looks just like the magazine, but obviously it's going to say, November, or just going to change it. And this one basically has all the information they're going to need as far as the, our target audience, what we're actually going to be doing, why we're so different, the places we're going to be distributing the magazine for now, and it obviously has the pricing section and everything else as well. So I'll make sure that everybody has one of these once the magazines come out. And like I said, if you're speaking to somebody that has a business, you know what? It's just a little extra way of, making bit more money. So. Mhm. The magazines have the classifieds. We do have a section for that. We do have a section. The section that we have towards the end of the magazine, it's more like it's 3 pages actually of what's going on in Orlando. So there's a section for art, there's a section for food, there's a section for different things. So once you see it, you'll take a look at it. And like I said, this is the very first edition, so we're going to be making a lot of changes as well. But we want to get some input as far as what did you see out there that you really liked about this magazine, and maybe we can implement it and then do it like that. It was rushed, not rushed. Everything was done very good, but it was crazy because it was 2 o'clock in the morning, and the person in Brazil was still down there. So he literally left at like 3 or 4, because I think it was a 3 hour difference. So he left at like 5 o'clock in the morning because we needed to get it to the printer, the shop today. So that was a big thing. But yeah, there's something like that on there. Anyways, did you all get the email about the MG? Okay. Have you guys all been there? How many of you haven't been there? So 4? Okay. So we got to make sure you guys get on there. Those of you that have been there, what do you think? It's unbelievable, right? Yep. And we will. Very shortly we will. It's crazy. So we have. They just actually took these pictures, which is really nice. They're gonna be building right next to it over here. As soon as they're sold out, they're gonna build the same exact thing over here. They've already built. There's a little like a hotel type of thing, like a motel hotel type of thing. They already bought the land. They bought the whole thing. They're just about to. As soon as they sell everything, they're gonna duplicate it right next to it. And I know across the way over here, this is one thing that always gets people, clients when you bring them in, because they have like trailer parks. I mean, it's nothing like bad neighborhood or anything like that. As far as the people that you don't have the gangsters right there or anything like that, but it's trailers, right, in front of a very beautiful community. So if you look at some of the articles, and I've sent this to you guys, or one has sent it, the city has already bought all of that land as well, or are developing the land to where it's going to be a park, like a really beautiful park around there. So they're changing all of that area, and it's just obviously the person has to have a little bit of vision. But the complex itself is just amazing, and it's only 5 minutes away from the beach, or something like that. So it's real nice. If you haven't got a chance to see it, make sure that you do, because it is breathtaking. They're just about to start on the pier as well, that Eva was telling me the other day. It's got 2 pools. It's just, I mean, gorgeous. Just the marina, yeah. It's gonna be right here. Uh huh. Oh, really? That's awesome. I didn't know about that. That's perfect. So they're gonna be doing a fishing dock over there. That's very exciting. Planet Hollywood, right? So this street over here, all you do is just take this bridge and you're right on the beach. So it's real close. But the cool thing about it is whatever level, the way they've built it is wherever you're looking at, I mean, whatever apartment you've got, you always have a water view, even if you have the back one. So it's really cool because any one of the units have water view. The only difference is that from the ninth floor up, you have the view of not just the water here, but you have the view from the beach as well. So this is huge. So the reason I'm bringing this up is because we're setting up uh, to work with them and on a more like scaling a little bit more and to make it better, right? So we can actually push it because this is the type of product that when we have our clients, the typical clients that we have, they usually come, they want to buy a house in Orlando, right? You got Disney, you got all of this stuff. So I had the developer actually come in here 2 weeks ago, and I spoke to him. His name is Brett, and Brett and Eva. Eva is the person that manages the units, and he asked me. He said, be very honest. Why do you think you guys are not selling, or what do you think we're not selling? Because not a lot of people are selling there. I said, I'm going to be very honest with you. I said, that's what I want. Well, realtors have to drive twice as long to get there. They when they get there, because I brought it up as far as when we get to the gate. Well, if we have a time to set up an appointment, we'll set up an appointment. If we can't reach somebody to set up an appointment, it seems like they're barring us from going in. So if they can't get a hold of the person, you can't go in, and you're with the client in your car, and now you have to what, turn around or keep calling? Makes no sense. So I said, if they say I'm here to look at the units, let them through. That was the second thing, right? The third thing I said, you guys have no financing available, right? So the only clients that we have to buy there are cash buyers, which the majority of our clients are not cash buyers, right? The fourth thing is this product you have to sell. It's not like I said, they're looking for the home in Orlando. They already have their mindset in that. A product like this, it's gorgeous. Once you see it, you'll fall in love with it. And once the client sees it, right, Rana? Once he sees it, he'll fall in love with it as well. So it's an easy sell once you get there. But for you to say, listen, let's look at a property in Daytona, they're like, no, but I want something in Orlando. But you don't understand. It's like 45 minutes, an hour from here, which everything around here takes 30 to 45 minutes to get to, right? So you might as well at least take a look at it. And the prices, I mean, come on, you can't really compare it, right? So we're talking about 45 minutes on average from Orlando, depending on where you're at. The complex is 5 minutes from the beach. The unit started at 2:30. I'm not sure if they still have any available at 2:30. One, really, to boost it up. Exactly. That's the email you guys got. Remember, we sent out a blast. I don't know if everybody got this. So they have 15 units that are being rented right now. So somebody that purchases it already has the rental income coming in, which is great. And that actual unit, which I didn't know, that has a 200,000, right? Yep. Absolutely. So in this case, we don't get a hold of Florida Scandy or anything like that because obviously it's all the way in Daytona. So we want to make sure. They do allow short-term rental. It's just that I want to get on the microphone. They do allow short-term rental, but it's only 30 for 30 days, minimum of 30 days. They'll rent it for 30 days, but the person has to pay for 30 days. However, if they stay a week, 15 days or whatever, they still pay for 30 days, okay? But I'm sure they can work something with them and make it something better. Just everything, not the electricity. Yeah. That's it. The only because when you get it, I mean, that's one of the things that people ask. Obviously, we have a house at Paradise Palms where we pay 450, right? And it's a great community. You guys have been there, you know that it's a beautiful community, right? How much? 481, just went up a little bit then. So 481, right? But what we get compared to what they get at the MG, it's nowhere, nothing close to it. I mean, the structure that you get, the safety that you get, all the amenities that you get, and everything else, it's higher. The three unit there is about 750, right, something like that, and the two unit is about 650 or 680 or something like that a month. But they do have it. It goes down. Because right now, what's the percentage? You know the percentage of the sales that they have as far as units? 45%. So imagine they have to keep up everything for all the units, right? For 100% of the units, but they only have 45% of the units now. So obviously, it only makes sense that as soon as you have more, maybe it'll be cut down in half or a little bit more than half. Then maybe I don't know. Gotcha. For the okay, for the two two. Good. the better it's gonna be. So we're gonna have one by the middle of next year at max, for sure. So, anyways, the one thing, like I said, the financing, they already have that available as well. It's more of that the type of buyer that we get that kind of like some of our buyers, and I don't know you guys, but the buyers that I had is they understand it's a 15 or 30-year mortgage, but they want to pay it off as soon as possible, right? So they usually get rid of it in 2 or 3 or 4 years. The way they're financing, we're gonna get more details on this, but it's a 3-year financing. Okay, that's what they're offering right now. But we'll get more details on that, and I'll get it to you guys. Now, the big thing, remember, she said, why are you, he asked me, why are you guys not selling? I said, well, all those reasons, but the most important one is what? Money, right? You guys are paying us 5%. So, he said, well, what do you think? I said, we want to get paid 10%. That's what we get paid here. So if we're going to drive twice as much, try to sell something that's going to be a little harder, we want more commission. So here's what they came up with. If we sell 10 homes, 10 units by December, okay, so they gave us it was 15 days ago, so 2.5 month window. The commissions is 8%. But if we sell 10 units, the commission goes up to 10%. And all the other units that were sold, all the 10 that were paid 8%, they'll pay the extra 2% on all of those as well. So this is not just for us. He's talking about, I mean, obviously this is not like Park Square that we have the extra 1%. This is available to anyone. But this is the office, the company as a whole. So we're going to be doing specific advertising on like Google and stuff like that to try to push those units because it is worth it. I mean, it's a great, great investment, especially if you want, whether you want to live there, you want to have it as a second home, or you just want the rental income, they have the units ready for you to just start making money right away, so it's worth it. Building, the tower. It will. There's no doubt about it. If you have, yep. For an investor, totally worth it. There's no doubt about that. And there, hmm everything. They're investing a lot of money in there, so it's going to be a great investment, no doubt. They're selling for the price they're selling right now is below costs, just so you have an idea. But they have to get rid of that. Not get rid. They have to sell that in order for them to go and do the other one, right? But yeah, there's no doubt it's going to be phenomenal. A couple of things I'm still having a hard time with a couple of you guys that are not updating your Google Drive and updates. I'm not going to bring up any names, but if you are having challenges with this, you need to get with Paco. You need to get with Juan to make sure that they help you with this. Okay, please. Just because, as I said, it comes time to get the numbers and get everything in order. We have to keep calling and getting contracts and doing all these things. It makes no sense, right? Raquel just closed the property last week or 2 weeks ago. I don't know. She still hasn't been able to get her check. Why? Because she didn't have the stuff organized. And we're not going to give out the check until everything is organized. Simple as that. Everybody knows that. That's the rule, right? So we're still working with it anyways. Um, exactly. Yep. Because once you're done with it, it moves to the completed file, so you don't check it again. But if we get audit, we have to have the documentation. It's not that we're being picky or anything like that, but we have to have the documentation because if you do have an audit, then we're going to be the ones that get in trouble, and I'm not going to get in trouble over anybody. Simple as that. Okay, syncing. Who said? Reinstall it. Yeah, I did that with one of mine. Yeah, and the cool thing about Google Drive is that because obviously it's Google, you can call them. No, you set it up and they call you. They call you right away. Yeah. With Dropbox, we didn't have it. I was so frustrated because I was trying to get things fixed, and I couldn't because it was all through email. So she sent me this long email saying follow the step by step, and the person can actually get and log into your computer, and they can do all the work for you as well. So it's a lot easier. If you have challenges, just let us know. We just want to make sure that everything is good. We cannot start 2015 with this stuff not ready. So please help us out with that, okay? You guys already know that we're doing the weekly trainings on Mondays, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Paco's going to be sending out the emails by Wednesday. Okay, we're still working on that stuff, but starting this week, it will go out on Wednesday, right? Because we're doing between Paco and Sandina, so we're trying to decide, and that's not me, for sure. Yeah, exactly. Or you guys will be seeing Juan's pictures very, very soon. Anyways, champion of the month. Okay. Yeah. So obviously because of the election, because of the dollar, because of everything, the sales did go down. Okay, we know this because Renato's just like wanted to kill everybody because they didn't make was it couldn't make a sale this month, right? But it's all right. Listen, if you look at his numbers, he can afford not to make a sale this month, which is the good news, right? But we still have, thank God, we still had, thank God and thank you guys, we still had quite a bit of sales this month. And I want you to guess who the champion of the month. Before you look at the numbers, I don't know why one's giving out the numbers before we go through them. Who's the champion of the month? What? How'd you know, man? I think you guys should be getting tired of this, man. I mean, seeing him all there all the time, him or Renato. That should be like you should be kicking yourself. I want to be up there. But anyways, that's awesome. We're very proud of him, and thank you very much for all the hard work you do. So this was a very bad month. Horrible. Good Lord, the dollar in Brazil and Dilma, bad, right? So that's awesome. So proud of him. It's not even funny. And then we do have the runner-up, which is the runner-up. He has his parking spot, so the runner-up gets the parking spot. And I know that Renato's parked in his spot already. He wanted us to make sure that he got the last day of the spot, right? Squeeze it as much as possible. It makes sense. Say, listen, I don't know who it is yet, so let me just get my spot, which is great. Did you all see his new car, by the way? Gorgeous, right? Beautiful. And guess what color it is? White, right? And he has Wi-Fi on the car. Amazing. So see, it doesn't have to. No, it's worth it. Of course, it's worth it. Beautiful. It's just a little different. And they'll go back to Brazil and they'll tell their friends about that. It's a little thing, but they'll tell them. That's beautiful. That's awesome. Congratulations. Of course. No, it only makes sense. And remember what I told you guys, as far as you get the commissions, the money comes in. It's funny how we're used to sometimes, and I know because I've been there before, right? So we're used to making $40,000, $50,000 a year, and then we start making $200,000 a year, and then we start spending the $200,000 a year. That's the problem, right? So when you start making the money, start investing, but investing in yourself. Obviously, as a realtor, you need to have a nice car. That's just one of the must-haves, right? But self-development and courses and everything else that you can. Save the money, of course, but make sure that you invest as much as possible. He did the right thing, and he's selling. I mean, he's selling. He's got the volume. He's got the money. No reason not to do it. It only makes sense. So you guys ready for the runner-up? And you all know the numbers already, so let's bring him up. Congratulations, Mr. Rodrigo Cervera. Now, how cool is this? How long have you been with us? About a month? 2 months? No, really working. Yeah, less than 2 months, right? He's almost at $1 million. You have any doubt he's going to be at $1 million by the end of the year? Do you have any doubt? Share. Sight unseen. Yep. Beautiful. So the sale happens, right? You just have to follow through the process and build a rapport. I mean, that's the biggest thing. Build a rapport with the client, and the sale is going to happen. You don't have to make a sale, right? You just have to facilitate it. It's a little different. So beautiful. That's awesome. That's beautiful. Congratulations once again for the initiative. That's fantastic. It's awesome to see somebody that's just starting, and really making it happen. It's perfect. It's not that hard, right? It's work. It's still work in the end of the day, but it's not as complicated as it seems, and it is work, definitely. I mean, if it was easy and there was no work involved, anybody would do it, right? That's the whole point. But the cool thing is, who just started taking her classes? So, I mean, wife and husband working together, nothing can stop them, right? It's a beautiful thing. Congratulations. The the post license? Good, awesome. And he's starting with Cameron as well, which we got to work something out with them for our people, a little break or something like that. So the monthly results, we got Veronica at 176.90, Sandina at 344.90. We have Rodrigo at 635, and we have Umberto at 1.2, which brings us to a total of $2.4 million, which is still not bad, right? Come on, this was a bad month compared to all the other ones, but it was just, let's say it's not as good of a month, but still awesome. Now, as far as obviously the quarterly results, because it's the first month of the quarter, I'm not going to go through them because it's the same. But let's just go through the yearly, and I'm just going to go through them real quick instead of saying them one by one. But see what I was saying, Rodrigo's already at 865. And I mean, we're talking about last month, but you still have 865 for the whole. So once again, I mean, it's another one sale, like a $200,000 sale, 140,000, and you're right there, 135,000. Veronica as well, wanted to congratulate her. Obviously, it's 748, which is beautiful. Love seeing that. Love seeing it. That's what I'm saying, right? So it's great. It's awesome to see that. It's awesome to see that. Um, what was the other one that well, the other one, Marcio. Yeah, Marcio sold another one, but that was last month. Yeah, last month, yeah. So we got you guys close to a million, which is really, really awesome. I mean, there's three of you guys. Some I don't know if you guys already know, but let me just finish up the numbers, and then we'll go through what I want to talk to you guys about. So we got a total for the year of $30 million, $30.5 million. So do you believe we can still reach the $50 million goal? We can still do it, right? I guarantee we can do it. Listen, Dilma won. You know what that happened, what that means, right? For the next couple of months, you just gotta be ready. Because if you're not ready, you're not gonna be able to ride the wave. It's simple as that. She won. They're gonna want to get the money out of there. Okay. It was funny because we sent an email about the franchises the day after Dilma won, and I had about 60 responses in 30 minutes. That's pretty nice. Never had that before. Yep. Of course. So that's awesome. A bunch of people got back. A lot of people got back with us. So congratulations to all of you guys. It's pretty amazing. Remember we talked about last month. We talked about the way the transaction coordinator is going to be working. So they're getting everything ready. They're sending. Some of you guys have already received emails from them asking for documentation and things like that. You gotta be as patient with them as they're gonna be with you as well. Okay, so this is a brand new process. We're starting up. I see where this is gonna go because once the sales start hitting and you guys started getting the volume of the clients, you will not have. Trust me. As best as you think you're doing your job right now, as far as the transaction between the day you close the contract and the day you close on the house, it's not as good as it should be still, okay? Because in the end of the day, I keep telling you guys this, and I told the girls from Dream Designs as well. I said the money is great, the volume is great, the recognition is great. You know what's better is a happy client. And a happy client is a client that's well informed, that knows every step of the transaction, that knows what's going on throughout the whole time, that gets monthly pictures of the property so he can show his friends. Is the client that, but in the end of the day, is the client that gives you a testimonial. That's a happy client, right? People don't just give out testimonials if they're 80% happy. If they understand that things can happen, but if they're 100% happy with you and the work that you did, and they see that everybody was collaborating to make it happen, they'll just, I mean, they'll refer you to 10 times more people than they would if you didn't get them. Okay, but you don't get that unless you ask, right? So the coordinators are going to be with you guys, working with you guys as far as getting that as well. So the same way that we developed something for the transaction coordinators, which we did a training, what was it, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago? Those of you guys were here about 2 or 3 weeks ago, right? Did it clarify more? Because I know we just mentioned it in the training, and it's different when we go through the spreadsheets and we go through the emails and everything else that they're going to be working. Because you guys need to understand what they're going to be doing so you can be on the same page with them, right? They'll still get with you and help you with whatever you need. But then I set up one for you guys as well, okay? We already talked about this last time, which your job is to sell. Coordinator is going to take care of the process, 80% of the process. Once again, they're not doing everything. Okay, closing, get the check, and you get a happy client. The happy client meaning you get that testimonial with them. So I set up emails for you guys. Once again, these are templates. Okay, and when you look at the amount of emails, you don't think like, oh, and those are too many emails, because they still have the emails from the coordinators and all of that. You got to remember that this is within for the most part, within a 6 to 7 month process, right? Because the house is being built and everything. But these are just little updates. It's just to say, hey, I didn't forget about you. Here are the pictures of your home. Here are the documents we just got. They want to stay in the loop. The reason clients are so frustrated, and I spoke to a couple of them, even my own past clients. I said, what was the one thing you'd say if I could make it better, to make a better experience for the clients? He said, more communication. Not flooding them with emails. We're talking about one email every couple of weeks. That's what it turns out to be. But they want to make sure that they're part of the process. They want to make sure they understand what's going on. Oh, now it's time to open the bank account. Okay, now it's time to get the LLC. And not flood them with stuff. So all we did is just we've broken down the step by step. That's all it is. Okay. So you guys already have this ready. Like I said, it's a template. You're welcome to change it any way you want. Just make sure that it doesn't, really get out much of the process. You're gonna have. Go ahead.
Just I started with the transaction, but it's a little different because he's local, so I don't know how to communicate that,
I got you.
and I don't know what to do.
They're locals. You already talked to the girls.
I told him from the very beginning.
Okay, then we'll get it situated. It's still with even with locals, all we're doing is just cutting certain steps. For example,
Money Corp
that's what I'm saying. So we just cut certain steps. Listen, the girls have a system that's, let's just say, the worst case, not worst case scenario, but the most complicated scenario, right? Which is an international buyer that needs Money Corp, that needs everybody else, right? They have that put together. If it's a local client that doesn't need that, they're not going to send it. Just going to cut that one out. See what I'm saying? And then when the spreadsheet, instead of putting sent on the email, they're just going to put not applicable. Simple as that. So it's a simpler process, but they already have the more specific one. Okay, that's all it is. It's not a big change. But for example, you guys will have email that you send to the client with the thank you, okay, which I'm sure you do already, but you have something a little different. And then you thank you to your coordinator, and then the updates to the client, the documentation you need, the introduction, so everybody's on the same page. It'll be really really simple once you get a hang of it. I put something together for you guys as well. It's not as long as and this is actually just a picture of theirs because yours already ready, but yours is very similar, so you guys can follow every step of the process as well. But just remember, this is them saying, listen, this is already done. This is already done. And you just go on your spreadsheet and update it. Remember the spreadsheet that you guys are using now, which has, in the end, it has all the totals, how much you made, how much the house cost. It still has that. The only difference with this one is that it has a step by step by step by step, so you don't miss a thing. You're on the same page as them. They have very similar spreadsheets, and you get it done. Now, obviously, it's a system. You don't just, I show it to you, and then all of a sudden, magic happens. You got to learn. You got to work at it. That's all it is. But if you follow the system, you'll have the results. There's no doubt about that, right? We talked about this last time already. So um, I want to give you guys an example again. I remember I showed you this last time about trim designs. So let's just go back because we added another month now, and I want to show you guys why I'm so like such a freak about the whole following the step by step and having the systems in place. Okay, and you tell me if it made a difference or not. Now it was funny because the girls in the last meeting were with us, right, where we did the big meeting, and they're like, so you just spoke to them about these millions of dollars that realtors are making, and now you come in and show us a little $89,000 sale that we made. That's nothing. But then what I want to explain, and I didn't make it clear last time, is the average person, the average designer, for example, at Hudson's, closes 1 to 2 clients a month. Okay, 1 to 2 clients a month is anywhere from 50 to 80,000. That's what they close. So if they have a good month, they close over 100,000, right? So in our numbers are different. So they're not going to be millions of dollars at Hudson because they're selling $25,000 packages. You guys are selling $300,000 homes. Does that make sense? So what I want you to do is I want you to see the growth and not so much the number. Does that make sense? So let's go to July. So we had no systems in place. It was a bit messy, right? We're still getting stuff done, but in the end of the day, no testimonial. Why? Because it didn't matter how good of a job they did, somebody was messing up along the way. We were not following up, or we're not, something was going on. So July they had $89,000. That's when I sat down with Pat, and Pat said, we got to fix it because I understand they're getting the volume, but we're not being able to close on time. Things are getting delayed, and anyways, a bunch of little things. So they got July $89,000. In August, we started implementing the systems, but we didn't have a system yet. I just gave them a couple of tips, and I say, listen, this is what we're going to be changing based on my conversation with Pat. So let me ask you, if you went from 89,000 to 155,000, was that in a month? Was that a good growth? It was almost 100%, right? But you still have no systems. You had tips, but tips that you put into action, right? Knowledge that you're applying, not just knowledge. So on August, we start talking about the system. I'm not done yet. So September, they're using about 60% of the system. They had $305,000 in sales. Now I'm going to ask you, from August to September, is the number pretty good? Once again, the ratio. Think about you selling, well, for example, $1 million of homes. The next month you sell $2 million of homes, and then another month you sell $4 million a home. Is that pretty good? Okay. So September, 60%. I spoke to Anna before the month was over last month, and I said, "How's it going?" She said, "It's completely changed my life, right? Because it's systems. That's what systems do. They make your life a little easier, right?" Now, you have to apply them, of course. And I said, "How much of the system did you use in October?" She said, "I got to be very honest with you. We didn't use the whole thing. We used about 80%. You want to see the number? So I'm going to ask you, we're talking about 4 months. If you went from 1.2 million, right, to 2 million, just about, to 4 million, to about 7 million, was that a pretty good growth? Now, here's the funny thing. First week of October, I sat down with Pat again, and I said, "Pat, how's it going for you?" He said, "Great. I mean, the sales are doubling and doubling and doubling. That's awesome." First couple of weeks, right? They were getting everything ready. He said, "I'm just worried about October because the girls haven't put anything in yet, and I'm getting a little worried. First 15 days." I said, "Okay, just give it another week." Well, they put this in about 2 weeks, right? So Pat calls Daniela and says, "Daniela, you don't have any more, right? Because remember, they're used to handling so much volume. How much did I tell you a regular designer does at Hudson when they do good? It's about 100,000, right? We're talking about one designer. Now, obviously, she has a team. It's a little different. But as far as Hudson goes, she's one designer, right? So Pat says, don't put in any more orders because we cannot handle it. If they had, this is how much they're starting the month with. Yeah. So this is supposed to be the total in October. So once again, 89,000, no systems. 155, just a few tips. 60%, 80%, not 100%. No, no, 100% of the system being used. Because it's a step-by-step thing that Anna knows what she's doing, then she communicates with the client, communicates with the store. Alexandra knows what she's doing. It's just a process. Does that make sense? That's why I'm being such a, like, once again, such a freak about getting everything in processes because it just flows so much better. Now, it's not easy to get into it, no habit is easy getting into. But once you start getting into it, you never want to get out again. Because then you want to go make a sale and you're like, Okay, what do I do now? I don't know what to do now. Now remember, the way we're setting it up with the transaction coordinators is not so you guys, if you guys ever leave, which you're welcome to do. Obviously, this is the same door you came in, you can leave as well. But it's not like okay, so they didn't prepare me to be a realtor outside. No, you're still doing following every step of the process. You know what every step of the process is. You're just not doing the work yourself. That's all it is. Make sense? Were you gonna say something? No, you won't care. And he had one of the girls. I probably shared this with you guys. One of the girls that works with him. She said, "How come Daniela gets to work at home?" And because I want to work at home too. Now, obviously she doesn't just work at home. She has clients she has to see at Hudson. She has clients she has to see here, and she just had a baby, right, 3 months ago. But Daniela didn't stop working, even through the pregnancy, even when she had the baby, she never stopped working. So I mean, you I gotta give it to her. She's been doing phenomenally. Obviously, she has a great team behind her as well. But it's just like like you said, Pat doesn't care. But when this designer came up to him and said, "I want to work from home as well," he said, "That's fine. When you have a husband that has a real estate company and has a great team that brings in a lot of volume, and you get the volume and you have a team, then you can work from home." What do you think she did? Okay, right? Because she's showing results in the end of the day. Please, Daniela, don't send me any more because I cannot handle it this month. Put it in next month. I have no idea. But I'm gonna get it within more than yeah, more than 10, way more than 10, because 10 would have been spending about 50,000 each. It was more. So the opportunity you guys have as far as what you sell and how much you make, I mean, these girls don't make a tenth of what you do. And they have 10 times more work than you do because you have to pick every single little detail. Remember, Renato graduated with Daniela. Now, obviously, this is not Daniela's job, right? She's a designer, so I just like Renato. But she's doing this for now. It's okay, and it's good. It's going very well. But it gets to a point to where she's gonna have a team set up to where she doesn't have to do this anymore, and she does what she loves. But Renato's selling homes. He's still doing. You saw the work he did on the with the apartment, which is beautiful. But he gets to do that without having to worry so much about the money because he's making the money somewhere else. Yeah. There you go. He gets to pick and choose, right? He gets to pick and choose, and that's the important thing about it. So does that make sense to you guys? Does that make sense why we want to do this as soon as possible? So, of course, that's the whole point. That is the whole point. And that's the whole point with every single franchise as well. It's not about the product, it's about the systems you have in place, right? Simple. So guess what? And once again, that is not me. I'm gonna put a picture of me or someone else over there. This coming Monday, this is what we're gonna be training on. Okay, just like we did with the coordinators, you guys that came to training, you understood what the coordinator is going to be doing, at least a percentage of it. This coming Monday, this is what we're going to be doing. So you already know what goes on the email for those people that didn't show up. Okay, I want to do as much as I possibly can, but if you guys, you need to understand this, so please be here. Okay, do your best to be here because it's important. We're gonna, as of January, we're gonna start using this full time. So we already did this. This is pretty easy, right? And we don't want to reinvent the wheel. We just want to make sure that we follow the system. So moving forward, I want to find out what your next step is. Okay, you gotta have in mind. I'm gonna keep that because I like that one. You gotta have in mind what is it that I'm doing on a daily basis. I sat down with Paco and Juan the other day, and I said, "Are you guys clear on what your job is within the company?" And they were clear, not 100% clear, but then we sat down, wrote it down, and then we are all clear on what they're supposed to do, right? What activities are you supposed to have during the week? What days are those activities going to be falling on? Because if you don't have that planned out, then what happens? You don't get anywhere, right? You're here. I don't care how good you are. If you have your eggs in one basket, if you're not doing other things, if you're not talking to other people, if you're just good. You got to get from good to great. And that's the biggest challenge you have right here. I want to see you guys succeeding. But you also have to put in the work. If you're putting in the work and you come up and you say, Jogo, but I'm putting in a lot of work and I'm not getting results, then it's the definition of insanity, right? You got to change your approach. Maybe what you're doing is not what's going to get you results. change it. You got the blog started up. It's awesome because you see the success Renato's having with the blog. You're gonna follow in his footsteps, right? I mean, people success leaves trail. Uh, Success leaves a trail, right? So does failure. So try to do what other successful people do. It's simple. What you're doing with the blog, it's great. Now, hopefully, you're gonna have 120,000 visitors as well a month, and that's gonna, drive your business a little more. Make sense? Organic, yeah. Exactly. But that's the beauty of it. As soon listen, as you grow, you gotta leverage yourself, right? You gotta delegate. You gotta because you can't do everything yourself. And Renato knows this, and he's doing it. I'm so proud of him for everything that he's got going on, and and it's just amazing. He's setting an example for everybody else. And I just want to leave this for last, but you guys know that some of the teammates are no longer with us, for various reasons. Some were let go, others asked to leave, just because, as I said, we're starting to implement things, and people that don't have a vision of something bigger, whatever you throw at them, they get scared. Okay, and I don't blame anybody for leaving. This is gonna happen. People are gonna come in. People are gonna leave. I'm okay with it. We did hire a real estate coach, so he's gonna be working with us. And the very first thing he asked me when I talked to him was, "How many realtors do you have?" And I said 25. He said, "Are you just like this? Are you stupid?" This is the first time I talked to the guy. Okay, and I'm like, "What do you mean, am I stupid? Do you not like to make money?" Yeah, of course I like to make money. Do you like to have a lot of liability? No, of course not. He said, having 25 realtors, I said, out of the 25 realtors, how many of them actually produce? How many of them give you the least amount of headache? And I said, well, it's the typical 80-20% rule, right? Just like church, just like everywhere else. Out of the 25, five, right? Now there's people that are starting. It's different. That's okay. But how many people have been with you for the longest time and all they do is they just bug and bug and bug and bug and they never get anything done. Now it's not, remember I told you guys, it's not just about having the results. It's are you having the activities to generate the result? And if you're having the activities, are they the right activities? So, and it was funny because I spoke to him on Thursday. He said, well, his answer was, you got to get rid of 20. He was just like, metaphorically speaking, he was saying get rid of 20, keep five. Obviously, we're not going to do that because it's a getting rid of 20 realtors not. But I want to keep a good team of 10 to 15 max. And that's why there's less people here today, because it's amazing how God does things as well, right? I spoke to him on Thursday. Friday, first one gone. Monday, second one gone. Tuesday, second one gone. Wednesday, fourth one gone. Isn't that just amazing? I didn't have to be the person to say, please, it's just not working out, leave. They just came up and for various reasons. Like I said, everybody can leave. It's not, I'm not saying you guys are going to be here forever. I hope you grow with us. But in the end of the day, it's really up to everyone. So for those of you that don't see people around anymore, that's the reason. If you see, you can tell who they are, obviously, the ones in yellow on the spreadsheet. And the ones that are in gray are the ones that are on hold right now on standby. So we're going to be, as soon as we start working with the coach, there's going to be challenges. There's going to be a lot of stuff that everybody's going through. We need to prove ourselves because in the end of the day, he said you have 20, in the example he was giving me, you have 20 extra people out there that are 20 extra liabilities for you. Make sense? 20 people that are representing your name and don't know what they're doing, and that's very dangerous. He said, make it a smaller team. You can grow later, but just make sure you grow the right way. Okay. So I just wanted to give that to you guys as well, and appreciate all of you being here as well. And I know that you guys are gonna do great. But let's just stay focused and, like I said before, be focused on what you're gonna be doing to go from good to great. Because then when time comes, right, with the dollar, with Dilma and whatever comes, we don't have issues. Because imagine this: if what if Dilma blocked every single person from Brazil from buying today? I mean, our 95% of our business is based on what? International buyers. Every single one of us in here would be in a bad situation. So is that what we want to do? With the exception of Veronica. All right.
No, look at yourself. What happened with Venezuela?
Yeah, exactly.
You're gonna get a big boost of sales, and it's gonna go crazy. Everybody's gonna come and want to come here and want to invest. So take care of it. But it'll be one point where you cannot get your money out of the country
Absolutely.
because it'll happen in a course of 3, 4 years.
So that's what, and we know the cycle. It's you go from being in Argentina to going to being in Venezuela and becoming a Cuba, right? That's the cycle of that type of country. So we know where it's going, especially with the person that won the election now. So we want to make sure that we do whatever we can, and that's the reason we brought him in. It's not inexpensive. We're paying him quite a bit of money for an hour of his time a month, okay? And but I understand that it's also necessary because in Juan did a course last week, which I thought was pretty amazing about becoming a listing agent. You understand that somebody that has, for example, 100 listings, who's doing all the work for them? You guys, the buyers, right? Because we've been working as buyers agents, right? We're the ones that drive and spend all the time and do. The listing agent just gets the listing, sits there, and waits for the buyers to come. You guys are doing all the work. But you know what? He's keeping half of the commission, you're keeping half of the commission. Now, would you rather keep half the commission without doing much work or half the commission without doing all the work? Thank you for sharing. And this is one of the things that the coach, first thing that he mentioned as well. He said, I'm gonna teach you guys. I want to teach you guys how to become listing agents, because the buyer's agent is when you have the income, when income does like this. When you start focusing on listings, that's when your income does like this, because you're having more and more listings and people in. The person that's listing, they're also buying, so you can also sell them a home, but you're also listing the property for sale. But you got to go after them as well. Okay. So we're gonna be making available as much as I can as far as the materials. I just want to make sure you guys go through it. Okay. If you get the material in your hand, it's worth gold, but it's only worth gold if you go through it and you apply it. Otherwise, it's nothing. I know I'm gonna go through it and I'm gonna apply it as well. All right. So I just want to make sure that you guys we're all on the same page, and that we don't get caught in this bad situation of, we're all doing so good and now the well just dried up, and we don't want that
Well,
happening
and I
as
was
well.
thinking,
So
the course was $300. I'm thinking, well, can I afford to spend $300 right now? Well, just that tip that he gave me, I know
it was well worth it.
that
Absolutely.
once listing, it's gonna
It's
pay for it.
it pays for it. So make sure you get that information to Paco as well, so he can send when he sends the email out. Say, listen, by the way, this the what we talked in the meeting. This is the name of the course and everything else as well. He said it was really worth it. All right. No, no, it's a coach that I hired that's going to be coaching me, and I'm going to give you guys the information. Yeah, it's not going to be a group coaching. I check with them, and yeah, it's a little bit different. But as far as the materials, I'm going to make sure that I make it all available to you guys as well. So, all right. Anybody have any questions? Any comments? No. Well, thank you guys for being here. Have a wonderful day.